Welcome back, coin lovers, collectors, and curious treasure seekers. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Australian 50-cent coins, those iconic 12-sided pieces of metal that are far more than just spare change. While millions of them have passed through Aussie hands since decimalization in 1966, a rare few have become gems of the numismatic world, worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some are valuable because of what they're made of, others because of how few exist, and some because of fascinating minting quirks that turn them into collector legends. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just now checking your change jar, this countdown might just reveal a life-changing discovery. Let's get started. First up, let's dive deep into one of Australia's most captivating and highly desirable commemorative coins, the 2010 Australia Day 50-cent coin. A stunning piece that has not only captured the hearts of collectors, but has also generated growing excitement in the rare coin market. In very fine colored circulation condition, this coin is considered a hidden treasure that could potentially be worth a fortune. Here's a gripping 16-paragraph deep dive into its designs, specifications, market value, and why it could be your golden ticket to becoming a millionaire. In 2010, to mark the national celebration of Australia Day, the Royal Australian Mint released a limited edition 50-cent coin that was not just currency. It was a celebration of identity, unity, and culture, strikingly encapsulated in a design that instantly set it apart from standard issues. This commemorative coin stood as a bold emblem of pride, featuring an innovative full-color design on the reverse, something that was still a relatively new and rare practice at the time for Australian circulating coinage. The reverse design, conceived by artist Aaron Baggio, is one of the most vibrant and symbolically rich in Australian numismatic history. It features a map of Australia rendered in a glowing, warm spectrum of reds, oranges, and yellows, radiating from the center like a sunrise, symbolizing hope, diversity, and national unity. Atop this radiant background is the proud phrase, "Celebrate what's great," a powerful message inviting every Australian to reflect on what makes their nation extraordinary. Below the phrase sits the stylized Australian flag, waving boldly in blue, red, and white enamel, adding a deep sense of patriotism to the coin's visual story. To the left of the flag is a delicate Southern Cross, beautifully depicted in bright white stars, another unmistakable nod to the nation's spirit. Together, these elements make the coin feel more like a miniature piece of art than a simple piece of change. The obverse features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, the standard portrait used on Australian coins between 1999 and 2019. Despite being the more conventional side, this depiction of the late Queen adds regal gravitas and completes the coin's dignified appearance. Crafted from cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, the coin has a dodecagonal, 12-sided shape, a signature style of Australian 50-cent pieces since 1969. It has a mass of 15.55 grams, a diameter of 31.65 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.5 millimeters, ensuring it stands out not only by design, but also in hand, with a satisfying weight and tactile presence. Only a limited number of these colorized coins were issued into circulation, and even fewer remain in very fine or better condition today due to handling, wear, and fading of the delicate enamel color. This scarcity is what has driven collector demand through the roof, and it's also what makes this coin an exciting candidate for high-value returns. In very fine condition, where the coin retains strong detail and most of its original color, it can command values between $50 to $150 Australian dollars on the open market. However, uncirculated or mint state examples have fetched up to $500 Australian dollars or more, particularly if the color is intact and vivid. Some graded specimens, especially those graded MS65 or higher, have seen private sale offers reaching the 4-digit mark. But what really lights a fire under this coin's value is collector demand and emotional resonance. Unlike many commemorative coins that fade from memory, this one remains a perennial favorite among Australians due to its patriotic design and celebration of unity. As younger generations grow into the coin collecting world, coins with deep cultural relevance like this 2010 edition are set to explode in popularity and price. Speculation is already circling the numismatic community that the 2010 Australia Day 50-cent coin could be one of the next breakout stars in the rare coin market. With commemorative coins now forming the backbone of many investment portfolios, this particular coin's track record suggests it's only a matter of time before its value soars further, especially as pristine examples become more elusive. If you happen to possess this coin in color very fine condition, consider it more than just a keepsake. It's a potentially life-changing asset. The trend toward patriotic and culturally significant coins continues to push values upward, and investors are constantly seeking the next underappreciated gem. This coin, with its glowing aura and national pride, checks all those boxes. Collectors and investors alike know that the key to numismatic fortune often lies not just in rarity, but in emotional and historical impact, and few modern Australian coins offer as powerful a message as "celebrate what's great." This makes the coin not just valuable in a monetary sense, but irreplaceable in symbolic meaning. Its design isn't just eye-catching, it tells a story of a nation that embraces its heritage, celebrates its diversity, and moves forward with hope and unity. That's why, when you hold this coin, you're not just holding currency. You're holding a time capsule of Australian identity, preserved in metal and color. So, if you're looking through your collection and you stumble upon this gem, don't underestimate it. Whether you're a lifelong numismatist or just beginning to uncover the world of rare coins, the 2010 Australia Day 50-cent coin could be your gateway to a millionaire's destiny. Markets shift, trends change, but coins with this level of passion, precision, and patriotic appeal are eternal. In a world where fortunes can be hidden in plain sight, buried deep in the folds of everyday change, the 2010 commemorative 50-cent coin reminds us that sometimes the most powerful treasures are the ones already in our pockets. We just need to recognize their brilliance. And in this case, that brilliance could very well be your ticket to a life forever changed. Next up, let's dive deep into the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin, a piece that might look ordinary at first glance, but could very well be the sleeping giant of your coin collection. This is no mere scrap of cupronickel. This is a coin with a history rooted in transformation, minted during a time when Australia's numismatic journey was still finding its identity after the decimal revolution of 1966. In circulation condition, this coin still holds numismatic significance, but under the right circumstances, certain rare versions or errors from this year could catapult its value into the thousands, and for the luckiest of collectors, possibly even be your ticket to a millionaire's destiny. The year was 1971, just 5 years after Australia ditched the pound and embraced decimal currency. The excitement of a new coinage system was still in the air, and the Royal Australian Mint was establishing itself as the master of a modern currency. Amid this financial evolution emerged the robust and unforgettable 1971 50-cent coin, a 12-sided powerhouse that carried more than monetary value. It carried national pride and artistic excellence. Let's begin with the reverse design, which remained true to tradition with the Australian coat of arms designed by the late, great Stuart Devlin, master goldsmith to Queen Elizabeth II. This design is a timeless and powerful emblem of Australia's sovereignty. The proud kangaroo and emu flanking the central shield that houses the badges of all 6 states: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. Above it rests the 7-pointed Commonwealth Star, representing the unity of the states under one federation. Devlin's deeply textured engraving makes the animals appear to leap off the surface, a brilliant feature that still catches the eye even in circulated coins. The obverse features the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by British artist Arnold Machin. This particular effigy of the Queen, with her youthful profile and royal tiara, was used from 1966 through the late 1980s, and it radiates a quiet, noble power that brings dignity to every coin it graces. The words Elizabeth II Australia 1971 circle the perimeter, marking the monarch's enduring presence during a time of great national transition. In terms of specifications, the 1971 50-cent coin sticks to the now iconic dodecagonal shape, a 12-sided form unique to Australia's 50-cent coin since the silver round was discontinued after 1966. The coin is minted from cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 15.55 grams, has a diameter of 31.65 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.50 millimeters. It has no reading on the edge, making it instantly identifiable by feel, even in your pocket. Its tactile design and metallic ring made it one of the most satisfying coins to handle, and one of the most durable in circulation. Now let's talk about rarity and market value, where things get truly interesting. The 1971 50-cent coin had a mintage of 13.6 million, which makes it moderately common in general circulation. In standard circulated condition, it typically fetches $1 to $5 Australian, depending on where. But don't let those numbers fool you, because what turns this coin into a potential gold mine is the existence of rare mint errors, high-grade specimens, and the increasing demand for early decimal currency in pristine or variant form. For example, a 1971 50-cent coin with a double strike, off-center minting, die cracks, or even a clip planchet can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially in professional auctions. A recent verified double obverse error from a different year fetched over 10,000 Australian dollars, and any such error from 1971 would be just as valuable, if not more so, due to age and collector demand. Even more astonishingly, there are whispered rumors among collectors about proof-like or unissued varieties from 1971, possibly struck for internal testing or presentation purposes. While not officially documented, should one of these extremely rare anomalies surface, its value could be virtually limitless. Think $50,000 to 100,000 Australian dollars, or more depending on provenance. And if you're lucky enough to have a flawless, uncirculated coin stored away since the 70s, professional grading at MS65 or higher could yield a small fortune. The demand for early decimal coinage is rising rapidly, particularly coins with historical importance and powerful patriotic designs like this one. Collectors around the world, from Australia to the UK, US, and even Asia, are paying close attention to 1966 to 1975 coins as they become harder to find in high condition. As inflation erodes modern coinage and digital transactions grow, these tangible, historic coins are only becoming more cherished. This is where your circulated 1971 coin becomes a beacon of possibility. It may be worn, scratched, or dulled by time, but every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth millions. If your coin has even the slightest sign of an error, an unusual strike, or better than average sharpness, it deserves a second look. Sometimes, it's not about how shiny the coin is. It's about what secrets it hides beneath the surface. Collectors are now combing through their change, checking their family's old tins, and rummaging through estate sales in search of these elusive gems. Don't be surprised if a dusty coin in your drawer ends up funding your next house or retirement. Because in the right hands, the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin isn't just a relic of the past. It's a ticket to a new future, a time traveler with wealth woven into its metal sole. So check your collection. Hold that 12-sided piece in your hand. You could be grasping a part of Australian history, a symbol of national unity, and possibly the key to becoming a millionaire from something as simple as spare change. The story is still unfolding, and your 1971 50-cent coin might just be the chapter the world has been waiting to read. Next up, let's unlock the deep and often overlooked mystique of the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin, a circulating piece with more than meets the eye. While it may seem ordinary at first glance, this coin holds fascinating secrets. And for those in the know, certain versions and minting anomalies tied to this year could make it one of the stealthiest millionaire-making contenders in Australian numismatics. In very fine condition, the right variant of this coin could be a collector's dream, especially when backed by powerful historical context and a surge of current demand. In the bold backdrop of the early 1980s, Australia stood tall in its national evolution, with a growing economy, cultural shifts, and an emerging numismatic scene that was starting to recognize its own brilliance. It was during this pivotal moment in 1981 that the Royal Australian Mint struck a large number of 50-cent coins, carrying the standard coat of arms reverse design. But hidden in the massive mintage were intriguing mint varieties, unexpected minting origins, and a rise in errors that now make select versions of the 1981 50-cent piece highly collectible and shockingly valuable. Let's begin with the design, which on the surface is the traditional 50-cent reverse created by Stuart Devlin, the official goldsmith and jeweler to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This bold and regal design showcases the Australian coat of arms, the mighty kangaroo and emu standing beside a shield that displays 6 separate symbols, each representing one of Australia's 6 states. The design bursts with heraldic pride. The kangaroo and emu, chosen because neither can walk backward, symbolize a nation constantly moving forward. The detail in their musculature and feather texture is especially visible in very fine condition, where still leaves clear features and pronounced relief. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin, with a softly flowing tiara and serene profile that reflects the classic elegance of her early reign. By 1981, this portrait had become a comforting national standard, gracing Australian coinage since 1966 and still widely respected. What separates the 1981 coin from its peers is not only its widespread circulation, but also its origin story. And this is where things become exciting. Due to high production demands, the Royal Australian Mint outsourced a large portion of 1981 50-cent coin production to foreign mints, including the Royal Mint in Lantricent, Wales, UK, and the Royal Canadian Mint. These international mintings came with subtle yet significant die differences, creating distinct varieties, and some of these are now worth a small fortune. One of the most coveted is the Canadian Mint variety, also known as the narrow rim or low relief type. These coins have unique characteristics such as a thinner rim, less defined lettering, and a more shallow strike, all details that sharp-eyed collectors seek. These Canadian minted coins are often under-identified by the public, meaning many sit undiscovered in drawers and jars across the country. Even rarer and more lucrative are 1981 coins with striking errors, such as off-center strikes, double obverse, die cracks, or weak strikes. One known variation is the clipped planchet error, where a section of the coin is missing due to an incomplete blank. These error coins, particularly in very fine or better condition, have sold in niche auctions for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and buyer competition. In terms of specifications, the 1981 50-cent coin maintains the classic dodecagonal shape with 12 sides. It is composed of cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 15.55 grams, measures 31.65 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of approximately 2.50 millimeters. Its satisfying heft and crisp edges make it stand out in hand, especially in well-preserved, very fine condition. Now to the current market value and demand. A regular 1981 50-cent coin in very fine condition typically holds a modest collector value, around $2 to $5 AUD. However, Canadian minted versions, Wales minted types, or those with unique error attributes can fetch anywhere from $50 to over 1,000 Australian dollars, depending on condition and the nature of the variation. Rare error coins have reportedly reached values of $2,500 plus in private sales and specialist coin auctions. Demand is rising fast for these coins, especially among collectors chasing complete Australian mint variety sets or error specialists who are driving up prices on obscure but rare examples. Online platforms such as eBay, numismatic forums, and professional auction houses are seeing increasing search activity for 1981 50-cent coins, signaling a surge in popularity. Why could this coin make you a millionaire? Because like buried treasure, it's not about the coin everyone sees. It's about the coin everyone overlooks. If you've held on to a 1981 50-cent piece, especially one with low relief details or a strange striking anomaly, you could be sitting on a numismatic goldmine. With the right collector, dealer, or auction exposure, that seemingly ordinary coin could skyrocket in value, especially as expert interest grows in international minting history and error varieties. This coin represents more than just currency. It's a window into Australia's minting evolution a coin that traveled across the globe before finding its way into your hands. The thrill lies in the discovery. One moment you're holding a piece of pocket change, and the next you're holding a key to financial transformation, one that few others recognize until it's far too late. So, dig through your collection, revisit those old coin jars, and inspect every 1981 50-cent coin you find. Look for rim width, strike strength, and any irregularities. Because if fortune favors the bold, then surely the boldest treasure of them all might just be a coin you've already touched. One that could, with the right eyes and the right buyer, make you a millionaire overnight. Next up, let's take a captivating deep dive into the 1979 Australian 50-cent coin, a coin that hides a surprising blend of timeless artistry, numismatic potential, and millionaire-making mystery. Often brushed aside in casual circulation, this 12-sided masterpiece from the late 1970s may very well be one of the most underestimated treasures in Australian decimal coin history. For collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure hunters alike, this coin in circulated condition might still carry a spark that, under the right circumstances, can ignite into a fortune. The year was 1979, and Australia was basking in a time of national confidence and modern development. Culturally and economically, the country was on the move, and the coins it produced during this era were strong symbols of unity, identity, and craftsmanship. At the center of everyday transactions, nestled in change purses and shop tills, was the 50-cent coin, large, weighty, and unmistakably Australian. But this year's issue, although not particularly low in mintage, is packed with hidden nuances and numismatic surprises that may very well make your wallet, or your old coin jar, a life-changing goldmine. Let's begin with its stunning reverse design, which features the enduring brilliance of Stuart Devlin, the official goldsmith and jeweler to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. At the heart of the design is the Australian coat of arms, an intricate and boldly patriotic image. The central shield is divided into 6 segments, each one representing a state: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. Flanking this shield are 2 of Australia's most iconic animals, the kangaroo and the emu, both standing tall and proud. These animals were selected because they cannot walk backward, representing a nation forever moving forward. The entire scene is crowned by the 7-pointed Commonwealth Star, and the design is surrounded by clean, sharp lines in the coin's unique 12-sided dodecagonal shape. In circulated condition, some detail is lost, but the artistry still shines through. The obverse, meanwhile, displays the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II sculpted by Arnold Machin. Her youthful profile, featuring a serene expression and adorned with the royal tiara, graces the coin with an aura of dignity and sovereignty. This portrait is encircled with the legend, Elizabeth II, Australia 1979, firmly rooting the coin in its historical and royal context. Now for the specifications. The 1979 50-cent coin is crafted from cupronickel, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a sturdy feel and a bright, silvery luster when uncirculated. It weighs 15.55 grams, measures 31.65 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of about 2.50 millimeters. The edge is smooth and unreeded, and the 12-sided shape makes it instantly recognizable, even by touch. Its size and metallic content make it one of the most substantial and satisfying coins in Australian circulation. When it comes to mintage, the Royal Australian Mint produced a total of 25.06 million 50-cent coins in 1979. That puts it in the mid-range category, not the rarest by raw numbers, but not overly common either. However, here's where things take a sharp and profitable turn. 1979 is a known year for striking errors, weak strikes, and potentially foreign planchet mistakes, which could dramatically increase a coin's market value. In circulated condition, a standard 1979 50-cent coin might typically sell for $1 to $4 Australian dollars, a modest premium over face value. But that's just the beginning. The real firepower lies in finding coins with minting errors, such as clipped planchet errors, where a section of the coin is visibly missing due to a blanking mishap, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, die cracks, cuds, or double strikes. Variations in rim thickness or weak lettering, potential indicators of foreign die use or mint faults. Coins with such rare traits, even in circulated condition, can sell for $150 to 2,000 Australian dollars, depending on clarity and rarity of the error. A high-grade error coin, or an extremely rare proof escapee, could fetch even more in private collector sales or numismatic auctions. Specimens with unique provenance or verified anomalies could enter the five-figure realm, especially with professional grading and authentication. The market demand for late 70s Australian 50-cent coins is rising steadily, particularly as the early years of decimal coinage gain status as collectible milestones. Numismatists worldwide are looking to complete mint-year sets, and coins from 1979 are being increasingly scrutinized for rare varieties, low population high-grade examples, and scarce minting errors. Collectors in the US, UK, and Europe are now joining Australians in hunting down these numismatic gems, adding global demand to local value. What truly makes the 1979 50-cent coin a millionaire-making prospect is the combination of three factors: timeless national design, mid-range mintage with hidden rarities, and a growing wave of collectors who are willing to pay large sums for coins once thought mundane. It's the ultimate treasure in plain sight, a coin you could already possess, sitting quietly in a forgotten tin, waiting to be rediscovered. This is the stuff of legend. Imagine pulling out an old coin album, flipping through a few pages, and spotting a 1979 50-cent coin with a strange edge or an odd strike. A little research, a quick evaluation, and suddenly, you realize you're holding a coin that no one else has, a minting mishap from decades ago now worth tens of thousands. All from a coin that once bought a pack of gum. So check your change. Look twice at that heavy 12-sided piece you've had since childhood. Because if it's a 1979 Australian 50-cent coin, especially one with an error, die variation, or unusually strong strike, you might just be holding a $1 million mystery in your hands. The treasure you've been searching for could already be yours.